Now you balance things that I don't balance. You balance adult children and small children and a grandchild.
I do.
So talk to us about how you balance those roles, and those relationships are so very different with each one of them.
Once I learned that they're all so different, that helped me balance better, because I at one time was putting all my girls in the mold of one of my children, and I wanted them all to be just like her. And at her age, you should be doing this, and you're at this age now. She was doing this. So when I realized that no, everybody's at different levels, and they need me differently. None of them need me the exact same way. So my oldest daughter is one who would tell me at a drop of a dime, Mom, thanks for who you are, and thanks for taking the time out to be with me by myself. Like, we had a Friday evening. Last Friday it was Halloween, and she was trying to get a costume together. And we were sitting, putting her mermaid costume together. And she was like, Mom, you didn't have to do that, but you spent time to just sit and paste these deals on here. And
out of love.
That's important. And then, when we go shopping or when we go to the store and I have my oldest with me, I'm thinking about all my girls. And she was like, that's so cool that you do that. I'm with you, and you remembered McKaylee's picture needed to be framed. You remembered this one needed this, and you remembered this, and so she reminds me of, or encourages me a lot. So it just helps me when I came to the realization that they're all different, and they all have different seasons of lives. And when I came to that, it really helped me balance much better. Because when I started, it was like, nope, you're supposed to be reading now, you should be doing this, you should be walking now, you should be feeding yourself now, you should be doing those things. But once I individualize them and I try to be present individually with them, it's hard to do it when they're all together, because all of them need my attention differently. So sometimes those closet moments are more frequent when all of them are together. But it's a good balancing act.
Now, you didn't probably see yourself having such an age gap between these olders and these youngers. That's not what you had planned. But how'd that all work out, and how did they get along with each other?
Right now I have 2 and 2. So my older 2 of the sets have very strong personalities, very aggressive personalities, so they bump heads. Then I have 2, the younger 2 are the total opposites. They're just very harmonious. They just go along with the flow, just, that kind of situation. So it was almost like God said, okay, you didn't get it right the first time. Here you go with 2 of the same.
You get a redo?
You get a redo. So I'm trying to do better with this second group. But they get along fairly well. I think that it's the same sibling kind of bickering that goes on. And I think it's a big learning curve, because now we know how to talk better, and we know what's efficient talking. And wait a minute, was that appropriate? We have new words now. Growing up, it wasn't, it was different. So I think they get along fairly well. And when I'm with other people, I see that my girls are very well behaved. When I get to visit with other ones who may not be so,
Isn't it fun to kind of get to watch?
So it does help me come back to reality and say, thank you, Lord, for my gifts.
I don't know if you needed a redo, because I watched your relationship with your older 2, and it looks like you did pretty good job there.
Well, thank you. I take it, I receive it, and I'm living in just doing better with what I have, doing better, and just learning as I go. We get to try it every day.
You're ahead of me, because mine are 11 and almost 13. So tell me what I have to either look forward to or maybe even dread with high school and college age and adult children. What's on the horizon for me?
I think just that social aspect, what's out there in the world, preparing them at home, getting that foundation, which I know you have done. I've witnessed it. However, the world is the world. And not sheltering them from that, but just preparing them and equipping them to have tools for when they get out there, because they gotta go. They gotta go out there.
They have to,
get
huh?
out
Are
there.
you sure?
Yes, they do.
Okay.
So just being confident in that and knowing that you've done your very best with what you had. Again, I think the teenage years, the middle school age years are tough because they're kind of finding themselves. I'm kind of looking forward to that, if I could say that in some kind of way, from that 9-year-old to get into those. I just think we're going to have a different story than we did with our 18-year-old. Now, we didn't deal with a lot of issues, so just preparing myself for that. But I think with getting ready for what the world has and being a gist, knowing what Twitter is about, knowing those social sides, Facebook, what's out there, what the music they're listening to. Okay, they may not listen to that at home, but what are they hearing out there in the world? Do you know what those songs mean? Talking to them about that. Why do you sing that? Are you like, is it the beat? Well, look at what it's representing. Really getting into their world. And I think that's just something you have to look forward to, is the changing society, the changing world out there.
Yeah, it can be rough.
It can be. However, we prepare them as best as we can, and I think that's where that foundation comes back. You know, they're going to come back to what they know is right and wrong.
Probably one of my biggest fears. I was just asking my college Sunday school class this last Sunday and asked them their biggest fears, and probably the one that pops up for me the most is not wanting them to make, some of those mistakes I made, and wanting better for them and more for them. But ultimately, where what helps me with that fear is, they're God's, and He's got it. He's got them. He's got a plan. Jeremiah says so, and He even loves them more than me, and I'm yet really just a manager of them.
Yeah.
So I have to remind myself of my role with them, and that allows me to exhale and trust, and look forward.
Yeah, exactly. Embrace the moment. It's coming. So just embrace it.
Look forward.
Go with the flow and know that you're just a passenger in the drop.
There you go.
You know?
There you go.